Heard of the Muramasa sword? Muramasa was an infamous 16th century Japanese swordsmith. The quality of his blades was higher, the metal was stronger, and the edges were said to be sharper than any other sword in the world. But the swords also appeared to be deadlier than most. So much so that people couldn't believe that they were made just by heating and hammering alone. Naturally, because of this, people needed a supernatural explanation as to why his swords were so good. That's when rumors began circulating that Muramasa was a violent and a madman who transferred this insanity into his work. All of that rage went right into his metal blades and gave them a mind of their own. There's also another rumor that began circulating that he made a deal with a very dark entity or dark forces that would give these blades the ultimate power. And unfortunately, that ultimate power came at a price. Whatever the case was, his two swords, katana and wakizashi, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right, demanded blood. And it's said that whenever these swords were unsheathed, the wielder could not put them down until they were covered in blood. Meaning soldiers carrying these on the battlefield had an infinitely higher body count than other soldiers. And if there was no one around or no battle to be fought, well, it was said that the wielder of the sword would often turn it on himself, usually impaling himself. Now, these swords were even said to be banned at one point in history when a family began to realize that, or began to think that the swords were cursed, because there were a lot of men in the family who were all unalived by this particular sword, either in battle or unaliving themselves with it. Now, currently the swords are split in a private collection and in a public museum, so you don't have to worry about them being on the battlefield anytime soon, but I thought this was an interesting story to share. Let me know what you think in the comments.